One by one, billion by billion, been holding up half the sky. trucks on track. Keep it right here. We're going to step aside, but while track drying continues, we will be ready to roll. Right now, though, coming up next, it's unrivaled Earnhardt versus Gordon. We'll see you back here shortly under these beautiful blue skies.
I'm fine, yeah.
Dale Earnhardt, Jeff Gordon.
This is where America gets together.
I think NASCAR was about to explode.
The face of our sport of NASCAR was Dale Earnhardt.
Dale came up when NASCAR entered more of the public consciousness. From the chest up, he became his own logo. The sunglasses,
With the cowboy hat,
the open face helmet,
the blue jeans, the boots.
the mustache.
He was that blue-collar racer.
Holy moly, man, was it cool as hell to see him anywhere around you. It's like playing on the same court as Michael Jordan.
You know, he was the sheriff.
He had that attitude.
Cruz making his Truck Series debut. This driver, there's been a lot of anticipation about him coming over to this series. He has been very strong in the ARCA Menard Series, 3 wins for him in that series. Also has run here at North Wilkesboro in the Cars Tour. So keep an eye on Brent Cruz as he makes his first start here in trucks. Jamie?
Yes, and thank you, Caitlin. Saw them wave the green flag, so the track is officially open for business.
We heard Chandler Smith say there he was going to wait a bit before he tackled this 5/8 mile oval, but not many takers when they threw the green flag. Everybody just sitting still. You go first. No, you go, you go.
Nobody in a rush right now. I'm looking at some drivers still out of their trucks, waiting for it to get up maybe a little bit more dry. There's some little wet spots around, but time is of the essence. Not a whole lot of practice time here, as Matt Crafton, the old wily veteran, says, you kids go out first.
You said not a lot of time, but there's going to be a lot more practice than it looked like there was going to be at 9:30 this morning when we were supposed to go running. So these guys will take their time and decide to hit this tough little racetrack. Let's check it out.
So cool to be back. First opened in 1947 as a dirt track. Look at those cars, Michael. 1949 first Cup race.
And we raced here all the way till 1996. I was in that race in 96 when we left North Wilkesboro, and I'm so happy for the successes of my brother. Junior Johnson lives right over the hill. You know, his shop was just right down the road, and Daryl really was good everywhere he went, but it was really special. He knew he had to win when he'd come to North Wilkesboro for Junior.
See, Mike Bliss got the first win in 95. Mark Martin got the second win after that. Then there was a long period of time where we didn't see the truckers here. And, of course, they made their return in 2023. Kyle Larson picking up that win. And last year, it was Corey Heim. Let's listen to Tanner Gray and what his thoughts are right now.
I figure there's going to be some wet patches out there somewhere as much rain has fell, you know. Maybe as they make some laps there, they'll bat it back down or either pull it out and dry it, one of the two, as long as it's not running. I think everyone's kind of hoping someone will go out there and do that. But NASCAR just said no matter what, they will not extend it at 11:30 as the hard cutoff.
That's Spotter talking to Jeff Hensley, crew chief, talking about the track, what might happen, what the predictions are, and you can see Tanner's chilling. Just hanging out on the wall. See who's going to be the first to give it a go.
Looks like it's going to be the 2 of Derek White.
I'm ready too, Jamie. I want to go. I'm glad Derek's hopping out there.
You know, this is Derek's first start in the Truck Series, Michael, since 2014. You think he's a little anxious to get things rolling here?
Derek's from Canada. Comes to North Wilkesboro, this historic racetrack. The legend lives on. You know, yesterday the Cars Tour ran, and their rubber is different than the rubber that these trucks put down. So I'm not too sure. I'm not happy it rained pretty hard there here this morning, just to wash that off, if you will, somewhat. See how slippery it is for Derek. You can see sliding up the hill there. Used to, Jamie, when we came here, you didn't want to be anywhere near up there. But these trucks last year, they proved you could run all over this racetrack. High, low, multiple grooves on this tough little short track.
You know, we had open and all-star practice yesterday, Michael, and Kevin and Clint. I was down on pit road. They were saying that was the most exciting and most fun practice we've had. And you know what they had mentioned was the repave of this track, 2023, they said it's aged quicker than any new asphalt that we have seen, and it's made for great racing.
It has that. Marcus Smith and his team, Steve Swift, the job that they do, getting surfaces ready to go racing on, it's just pretty cool.
Let's hear from one of the truckers waiting to go out. He's with Caitlin.
Yeah, Jamie Stewart-Friesen, one of the teams electing to wait a little bit before they go out for this session. Top 10 here before last year. What do you think the baseline will be for you and your team starting out here this weekend?
Yeah, for sure. We're just going to kind of hang here and wait for the track to come in a little bit. A lot of the time to practice here today, a little bit more than we anticipated because of the rain earlier. So Palmar guys brought a good truck, and I know they did, and hopefully we can go out there and tune on it a little bit and get it good for later.
Last time out, top 5 performance at Kansas. How do you feel like that got things moving in the right direction for this team?
Yeah, no, another good truck, and we're finally able to get a decent finish for us. We needed that after the 3 races prior, and hopefully we keep that rolling.
Thanks for your time. Good luck to you this weekend. Stewart-Friesen hoping to build off that top 5 last time out. Jamie?
Oh, they certainly needed it after 3 difficult weeks in a row. And you know, Michael, the Halmar Friesen racing team, they're just about 25 minutes from here. So it's kind of like a local home track for them.
And then Stuart Friesen will probably race this afternoon and head up to the Northeast and race tonight, tomorrow night. You never know with Stuart. A lot of action on the racetrack in his dirt modifieds.
Frankie Muniz trying to get all the track time that he can.
Yeah,
first full season in the trucks.
Derek White went out and ran 4 laps, and he just progressively got faster and faster. You'd expect that. His fastest lap,
that time.
his fastest lap was 2019, so about a second faster than Frankie right now. But he will too get faster and faster as he gets his tires heated up, builds that confidence up too. You know, this is a fast racetrack. You come down the front straightaway, and when I say that, Jamie, I mean straight down. It's really, really downhill into turn 1, so you carry more speed in there, and then conversely, just hit the gas and climb up the back straightaway.
I'm glad that you said that, because on TV, anybody tuning in, it just looks like a normal kind of flat oval, but it's so not. There's so much character here. Got one truck on track, awaiting the rest of the field. We'll step aside. You're watching NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series practice.
Sadly, windshield chips can turn into windshield cracks. But at least you can go to safelight.com and schedule a fix in minutes.
Sweet.
SafeLight can come to you for free. And our highly trained techs can replace your windshield right at your
fastest, right? But those speeds, that's quite a bit faster than we saw in practice here a year ago. So this track is right. And I talked about multiple grooves. Look how high they're running. Just wherever they're not, that's where you're going to go. And Corey Heim is flat picking them up and putting them down.
Sammy Smith in the field in the 7 truck. Team went to victory lane a week ago with Carson Hocevar.
There's that 7 truck. He's currently 8th quick. Hadn't really gotten a clean lap here lately. Hopped out there and ran a fast lap the first time out, but ever since then has been mired in a little bit of traffic, but working it nicely. And that's important, Jamie. You got to get your timing down. You got to understand if you do have to go high, go low to go around a guy, how that affects your lap time and your ability to carry momentum off the corner down the straightaway.
I love watching this pylon on the left side. It's almost like we're at a super speedway. All the names just keep populating As more trucks get out on track, take a look at Andres Perez.
You can see there he's 5th fast on our pylon.
This should be a pretty good place for him. Grew up racing in Mexico. He said short tracks is where it was for him and his off-road trucks and NASCAR Truck Series there.
Caden Honeycutt has rolled into the 2nd fastest truck. Had a couple of nights of racing in the late models here. That's got to feel good. You know, Jamie, come here, understand the track, get a feel for it, have a lot of confidence when you crank the engine. This kid's so talented. Feel like he's going to be a guy you got to beat today.
Race different vehicles here. He probably has about the most experience in the field around this place. And like you said, just gives you confidence when you roll out on that track. Daniel Hemrick in the 19. Daniel told me a cute story yesterday, Michael. He was a spectator here sitting in the stands 7 years ago. He was actually working on his now wife's car. She was here racing, and he said, I remember just looking at this place thinking it'd be so cool to get to race. Now here he is running in the Truck Series full time.
There's the fastest cat in North Wilkesboro right now, and you're right, Jamie. This scoring monitor is making me a little dizzy. They're just popping up fast time after fast time. The 9th time around the racetrack was Lane's fastest lap, so that just tells you how little fall off there is early in the going on these tires.
Lane Riggs with the UNC Charlotte colors. That's his alma mater.
Yeah. Really good off the wall. Everything, just when it loads up, it gets on the right front too hard.
Ooh.
And pushes, and then it gets to the center, and then it turns pretty good. Just got to get it better on, you know, coming down the hill in that quarter mark. Got to.
Don't you love that? Coming down the hill. We talked about this front straightaway being straight downhill into turn 1. He says that when he gets to the corner and all the pressure goes over to that right front corner when he's making the left-hand turn, it wants to push with him. So he's breaking it down so his team understands exactly what he's dealing with and they can make an adjustment. This is a longer practice session than these guys usually get, so maybe you've got the opportunity to change a couple of things, especially, Jamie, that the tires don't fall off. That means you can make an adjustment and go back out and see exactly if it helped the truck or not by the lap time.
Great opportunity, Michael, because like you said coming on air, we didn't know if we'd get practice, and now they get to adjust before they get into the race. And this is what we were talking about. UNC Charlotte, Lane Riggs, look at him all graduated up back in 24.
Repping his alma mater. That's pretty cool to be able to put Long John Silver's on the hood and Charlotte on the sides and have this beautiful truck, and knowing that you're the fastest in town, that makes things pretty nice too.
Grant Enfinger, great run last year.
Yeah, 2nd here a year ago. Look how high he is. That's so weird for me. I raced here for the first time in 1982, Jamie. So that's been a minute.
That's why you're the Grand Marshal tomorrow. Get all the accolades of all your years here.
Yeah, it's been a fun time coming up here. And as I said in the opening, driving up here this morning, you just think of so many fun memories and what this place was all about, and how much history it has and how important it is to NASCAR. And Marcus Smith and the Speedway Motorsports team brought it back alive, and the legend lives on, like I said.
Short track specialist, Ty Majeski.
Yeah, he's going to be tough today. He's pulling her into the pit there off turn 2, down on the pit road. 3rd fastest in his first time out.
2 wins in the last 6 short tracks. They could use a win. It's been one of those seasons for this team.
Uncharacteristically made a couple of mistakes that really hurt his efforts. He's been fast, so when you're fast like that, you know you're going to get it. Tony and Gio side by side off turn 2.
A couple of Tricon Garage teammates. They have 5 trucks in the field. Tony showing off this week. She is part of Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue. I believe that's the 2nd year that she's been in that. There she is. So beautiful, does it all. Races trucks full time here. She's a model part time, and that gets the attention of a lot of these companies that are coming on board that we've never seen, that have never taken a look at motorsports, and they come on board to sponsor her.
She's an influencer for sure, and that means there's a lot of people that like to be. Oh, Stewart kind of squeezed up on that 5 truck coming off the corner there. She ran her fastest lap last time by, still about a second off where she needs to be. But, you know, Jamie, I talked about traffic. When you're just trying to get your legs under you and feel what you got for a truck, you constantly have people running you down and shoving you up out of the groove. That makes it more difficult.
He's on it. Stuart Friesen, heard from him top of the show.
Top 10 did here last year in the 52 truck.
Raja Karuth had a pretty good truck last year, Michael, but spin set him back.
Currently 18th, as you see there on our pylon, his name highlighted. I expect he'll pick that pace up. He's run 15 laps. The most laps has been Caden Honeycutt, and there you see the best 10-lap average. Look how tight that is, just a half a tenth between first and third. Not a whole lot of difference between any of those trucks. You see, we talked about Raja being 19th on the scoring pylon, but he's 5th, 6th fast, 7th fast there in the 10-lap average. And look, just about a tenth, a little over a tenth a second is all he's off of the fastest guy. Not everybody's done 10 consecutive laps, so that'll continue to evolve, and we'll follow that. That's really important. The engineers, the crew chiefs really look at that fall off to see where they're at and compared to the competition.
Here's Chandler Smith, heard from him at the top, wanted to wait a little bit to go out. Now he's on track, and he's P1.
Wow.
This guy is just, he's incredible anywhere he goes. How diversified is this field, and how competitive this year, Michael?
Exactly, and you know, we talked about Brent Cruz making his debut. He's all the way up in the top 10 too with his speed. So you got to appreciate the effort that Brent is putting in right now and how fast he is.
You know, we talk about Corey Heim, yes, the truck to beat pretty much everywhere, and yes, he leads in every race, but there are so many truckers that are so close right there that can win on any given weekend, and this is one of them. Tyler Ankrum already went to victory lane once this year.
And I look at the top 3 trucks, Jamie, and those are the 3 I think are going to win every week. You know, they're just that good. You put Chandler Smith, Lane Riggs, and Corey Heim up toward the front, and they're going to be one of the guys you have to beat.
27 minutes remaining in Truck Series practice. Chandler Smith, fastest.
I'm an overpowered leaf blower.
out nicely. Qualifying was canceled. We locked the field according to the metric, and these guys get more practice than they're used to on any given weekend. Got Connor Jones, and now Connor Jones is a part-time runner. We saw him last year run a handful of races for Thor Sport, and now this is the first time running the 44 for Nice Motorsports. Bailey Curry, you see him behind the wheel on most weeks. And Michael, when Bailey's not in this truck, he is there with the team. He is always next to them, always in the shop. He's actually helping Connor Jones here this weekend.
Hey, he didn't miss the corner, Jamie. You know, you turn on your TV for the first time, you see Ben Rhodes go up that high, you're like, well, you must have messed up. These guys are up there. I saw Lane Riggs when he posted the second fastest lap time of this session. He was like a groove away from the wall in 3 and 4. They're running all over the place. That's great news for us as race fans. When they go racing this afternoon, it's going to be wild.
Love to see that. Ben Rhodes, 9th, talked to Rich Lucius, his crew chief, yesterday, and he said they were pretty optimistic for this one, Michael. They were leading last year with about 20 to go. They courted a right front, and that took them out of contention.
Well, I have, you know, we talked about Corey Hahn being fast early, and that was not breaking news. I have some breaking news, Jamie. I would like to share it with you.
What is it?
Kyle Busch, on his first run, he ran 8 laps, only 21st fastest. So got some work to do to be able to catch up with the rest of the pack. Caitlin, what are they saying down there?
Yeah, Michael, some work for sure. I just checked in with the team saying Kyle was loose in tight center, so they're made a big swing at it to see if they can't improve things for that 0-7. But there's always a lot of anticipation, of course, when Kyle Busch is in the field making his second start here this season in the Truck Series. 67 wins in this series for Kyle Busch, so we'll see if they can't get things moving in the right direction. Jamie?
Yeah, the last time he was in the truck, Caitlin, you mentioned one former start. That was in Atlanta. What a clinic he put on in this 07. And that's kind of what you expect when Kyle Busch comes back to the Truck Series.
And won on a last lap pass. I mean, it was a great race all the way to the checkered flag. This guy, Kyle Busch dominance. That's a great word to describe Kyle Busch.
67 wins. Not even close. Nobody is even close to him in what he's done in this series. Look at that 38% win percentage. Show me somebody better.
Won at 20 different racetracks, but he's not won here at North Wilkesboro. Can he make it 21 today? I wouldn't count him out.
The season that Kyle Busch has had, I know, coming back to the Truck Series, he loves it so much, and to get a win, it gives that confidence, Michael. Just jumping in that Cup car for the All-Star race tomorrow.
See if he can make those improvements. You know, he's going to break the truck down in very, very, very detailed fashion, letting the crew know what he's challenged with and what he needs to do in order to make it better. There you see Grant Enfinger up off turn 4.
Josh, what are they saying in Grant Enfinger's camp?
Well, a lot of confidence with this 9 team for Grant Enfinger. And I talked to the team earlier today, and, you know, they're one of just 2 drivers in the field that finished top 10 in both races here last season, but they still didn't bring back the same setup. They made some tweaks to it, knowing that everybody else was going to improve, so they wanted to make sure they improve as well. Well, they're also chasing the 38 and the 11. Just a little while ago, came over the radio and said, yes, the balance is good in this truck. We are rolling the center pretty good, but the 11 and 38 are getting lower when rolling the center, so we need to make some tweaks to be as good as those 2. So those seem to be the class of the field everybody else is chasing right now.
Yeah, and Grant Enfinger, 20 laps on the track so far, 6th fastest overall. What do you think about that, Michael? You can't stay complacent just because you were good one year. The next year, you must keep moving forward.
Things change. You know, you learn more. You do more simulation. Your engineers tweak the setup, and you're just going to improve. So you got to do that. You got to change and be ready to make adjustments in order to make yourself better.
Matt Mills in the 42 for Nice Motorsports, one of 3 trucks for that team.
You see he's behind Tony Breidinger in the 5 truck. They're both outside the top 25 in their single lap speed. As that's tight.
Sideways. And this is interesting. I mean, it's all truckers on track right now, Michael. We don't see that normally. They're divided into 2 groups for 25 minutes, but today they're getting 35 minutes straight up everybody.
It's busy, isn't it? They're all over the place. There's Dawson Sutton in the 26. He's 12th quick so far.
Made his Truck Series debut here last year.
solid start to the session as he goes high in turns 1 and 2. I love seeing that. I just never thought I'd see that. I mean, anytime I was up there, it was an accident. Just such a fun racetrack. It really gets my blood pumping because of how cool it is to be here, first of all, but secondly, how cool this racetrack is to race on.
Nice looking Tricon Garage Toyota truck right there for Brent Cruz, finding his way around this track. 17 years old, but he knows how to race here. He's done it multiple times, just never in a truck.
7th fastest in this session in his maiden voyage. That's pretty cool.
There he is. 3 ARCA Menard Series wins. Kicked it off this season with a win at Phoenix. 2024 World Series of Asphalt SLM champion and the youngest Trans Am TA2 class winner. So.
Yeah, and he won Trans Am at the age of 14 years old. I mean, how about that? And Trans Am's a tough series. That tells you the talent behind the wheel of this one truck.
They start so young now. And these kids are racing, Michael, at 3, 4, 5 years old.
I know. I go to Millbridge every now and then, and you look at them in those little quarter midgets, and the biggest thing in the whole cockpit is the helmet. It's this big old helmet on this little bitty person. Wasn't that way when I started. You kind of had to be up, you know, at least 10 or 12 to be able to race. That's just gone creep down over the years.
It really has. Luke Baldwin, the 18-year-old, third and final scheduled Truck Series start. Little loose off the corner there for Luke. He struggled a little bit at Kansas last week, Michael, but this is right in his wheelhouse. Should have a good day here.
Yeah, he was really impressive at Martinsville. We really appreciated the effort, the speed, and the way he raced with respect. I think every box you wanted to check except for the finish because of some contact, he checked it.
Luke Baldwin 9th on the board right now. Chandler Smith, Corey Heim on top of the board with 17 minutes remaining.
So, what do you think about the Jeep Wrangler?
Very spacious. Loving the Fathom Blue.
What are you going to use it for?
tight here and really, really fast in the long run averages. So keep your eye on that 45 truck.
Ty Majeski, no surprise. He's found some speed. Hopped up to 4th overall after 22 laps on track. There's Matt Crafton. And Michael, we heard, got a little note that Crafton may have gotten into Frankie Muniz at some point on the track, so they both came back down pit road to work on him. That's going to be short track racing, Jamie. If you try to navigate around other trucks, especially when there's a big speed difference, that's going to happen. Josh, what are you hearing on Ty Majeski?
Well, I can tell you this, Jamie, it has been a tough stretch for Ty Majeski and this 98 team. Just one top 10 in the last 6 races. And to add to those matters, that both Ty Majeski and Joe Shearer Jr. are under the weather heading into this race. Obviously, once he got behind the wheel, he's focused, he's ready, he is fine. As far as that truck right now, though, they're trying to get that balance right. He said it's loose through the center, and then on throttle, it gets tight. So they're trying to get that thing dialed in the way they want it. But we know how much of a threat he is at short track, so they feel like this can really be the race to get them back on track if they can get that balance right.
Absolutely, get the balance right, get their heads right. Not fun to be racing when you're not feeling too well, Michael.
No, it's difficult. It just makes everything seem more challenging, as you see Majeski there off turn 4, trying to work to the inside of the 81 truck.
Haven't talked about Connor Mozak. I was talking to Connor yesterday, Michael. So he's 25. He started racing at 18 years old. And we were just talking about how the kids are starting at 3 years old, which most of this field, that was their trajectory. They started in go-karts at 3 and 4 years old. And then you have Connor Mozak. And he was at a driving experience for Mario Andretti in Charlotte with his dad. And the guy helping him said, "Are you a racer? Like, you need to meet a team."
You got this figured out.
He did, and he went and met a Legends team and started racing, and from there it was just all throttle down. Raced in the Trans Am Series, still does some of that, did the Arca Menard Series, ran some Xfinity, and now running full-time trucks here.
Yeah, and working the lower line, we talk about the high line, but there's options, and that's what we love at a short track race, is how you can maybe run one end high, one end low, mix it up a little bit. And it just depends on what your truck's doing. You know, we've heard people say it's loading up on the right front. That's been the common theme. Loading up on the right front on exit, making the truck not want to turn as well as the driver wants it to. And that only gets worse as the air pressures come up in the tires and the tires get hotter.
Ryan Roulette, second time we've seen him out here in the field. Trying to get his wits about him. I'm sure there's a lot coming at him fast. Seen him in the Arca Menard Series quite a few times.
Second career start in the trucks. Ran Martinsville, so he's trying to get it all figured out. And look at that mess. Stuart Friesen, is he going to take them 3 wide?
Jason Alexander on the outside. Makes quick work of them. And
Luke Baldwin coming along for the tow.
Hey, Tanner Gray.
Tanner Gray down into turn 3.
Michael, this is 5/8 of a mile. This is a short track. You see the speeds they are turning around here? You see it populate over their truck.
Yeah, there's a lot more lap time than I think was anticipated, talking to a couple of the crew chiefs. So the tires and the surface where it's at right now, really positive for these trucks. There you see the speed you talked about. I'm going to guess that'd be, heck, maybe 140, 50 miles an hour down into turn 1. Can you imagine that on a half-mile track?
Sure, that sense of speed is certainly there in the G-force.
It's really fun. Back when I raced here, you know, you just felt like King Kong coming off turn 4 because you're running uphill, so you're giving it, you know, you're coming up out of the hole, but then all of a sudden that thing frees up and just flies down the straightaway. Really cut it low off turn 2, but maybe a little higher off turn 4 because of that big run down the front.
Ben Rhodes, 10th on the board. He's out of his truck and with Josh.
And he ran about 19 laps out there. What did you learn about your truck? How are you feeling about it heading into this race in just a little while?
Yeah, I
think the long run speed of our F-150 is fast. T-Sport Ford unloaded pretty close. We're on the splitter a little bit, so I'm glad we had practice to get our heights and our platform right. But all in all, it's a steady, consistent truck. You know, the short run speed isn't necessarily there, but we don't have to qualify, and it's a long race. So maybe that means we're on the right, right path.
There you go. He's got the long run speed he needs for the race later on today, JB.
And we saw it earlier. He is the fastest in the 15 consecutive lap average. So a lot of reason for optimism for Ben Rhodes as we look at Jack Wood. Napa Auto Care number 91.
One of the 4 McAnally Hilgeman racing trucks. Had a nice run at Rockingham. Expect those trucks to be pretty good here. Just under 8 minutes remaining here at North Wilkesboro. We'll wrap up practice coming up next. So much more to come on this All-Star weekend as you take a look at Jake Garcia and the 13. We have talked about him a lot this year, Michael. What a difference a year makes. Second year with Thor Sport Racing, and you see the comparison between the two seasons.
Just a great start to the year. 5 of the last 6 races, he's been in the top 10. And he was strong here last year, Jamie. He led 40 laps. So he knows how to get around this place. And like you said, just a great start to the season for this team.
Still trying to dial in this truck. 47 laps, down in 18th as of now. I've seen him come down pit road a couple of times, make some adjustments.
Same thing with one of our faster trucks, Lane Riggs. He just now darted back out onto the racetrack after an adjustment. So this track, with the tires not falling off like we talked about, gives these teams, these crew chiefs, these engineers a chance to try a couple things and see how it pays off for them. There goes Lane.
He has such a different look this weekend.
Yeah, celebrating his alma mater. That's pretty cool.
Normally that bright yellow Long John Silver's truck. So Chandler Smith quickest.
Ooh.
Corey Hyman Riggs right here third.
97 in front.
There's that banking, that hill you go up to get in the corner, and then boom, we're going to go downhill into turn one. Just makes your truck drive so differently because of the amount of speed you carry in and the banking.
93, 97 in front.
The
working that throttle.
Team also telling him his lap times compared to the guy in front. See, once he gets it down wide open, he's able to keep it down there. That means he's got good traction up off. Just really hard onto the gas. I think this last run for Lane was because in the 20-lap average, he's only 6 quick. So just probably thought the long haul, he needed some more work. Look at him drive with just that one hand. His left hand, the right hand is just sliding free on the wheel. I tell people all the time, a race car driver's style is a lot like a golfer. You know, you see one golfer golf one way and the other another, and both balls go as far or straight as the other. Well, it's the same with these trucks. You know, you can have different ways you work your gas and you work your wheel and still be successful.
It's a good analogy there. We talked about Kyle Busch. Not the top of the boards where we typically see, but we know Kyle Busch, he's working on it. They're figuring some things out. Just the second time being with this team.
Yeah, but I think he's got to be a bit concerned about the pace of the 7 truck. 18.99 the last time by.
41 laps and counting for the 07 at Kyle Busch. But the good news is he'll have that track position.
Yes.
Starting on the front row next to Corey Heim. That ought to be a heck of a battle right at the drop of the green flag coming up in a couple hours. Patrick Emmerling, 32 years old, out of New York.
Modified racer. Driving for Henderson Motorsports, Chris Carrier and those guys. Bringing the Orchard Park, New York driver on board.
He's ran the Wheeling Modified Series here a couple of times. Knows his way around this track. A couple of top 5s as well. See Parker Kligerman behind the wheel of this truck time to time.
Stephen Parsons drove it here a year ago. Good looking 75 truck. Is that a Rhino on the side of it?
Looks like it.
Better get out of the way.
Black Rhino. So getting around this place in 18.5 seconds per lap. Today's race, 250 laps. That's about 156 miles.
I've been impressed with Gio. 20-year-old out of Massachusetts. He's done a nice job of getting behind the wheel of this truck, getting acclimated to the sport, and putting up some solid finishes. Kicked off the year 4th at Daytona, been steadily right around the top 10 all year long.
Yeah, he was 4th last week at Kansas, 4th top 10 finishes. We know what kind of trucks they have because this guy right here is driving one of them, Corey Heim. 3-time winner on the season already. Michael, he has led in every single race this year, and he's led the most laps 5 of those races.
It's just incredible what this young man has been able to accomplish. He's only, next win, he ties Matt Craftsman for 10th all time in truck wins in NASCAR.
Impressive. And Corey Heim runs it down to the very end. The red flag is out. That means practice is complete. Chandler Smith, that man right there, fastest here, ran 53 laps on top of the board. We'll see if he'll be fastest at the end of this race. Coming up at 1:30 Eastern on FS1 for Michael Waltrip, Caitlin Vincey, Josh Sims, and our entire Fox Sports team. I'm Jamie Little. We'll see you back here in just a couple of hours from North Wilkesboro, North Carolina.
This copyrighted telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without